Well, here we are. I've got all the bolster cleaned up, and there's a few things I'd like to show you. And you can see down the bottom here, when I hold the torch in the right place, you can see where the shaft here has been sitting down low, and some of the spline has worn into the bushing there, and the bushing has gone right back to bare metal on that surface. Now, looks dark when I turn the torch out, doesn't it? Then on the other side you can see the bare metal. It's worn all of the brass through. It's a steel backed brass bush, and you can see in there the buggered bush. That's okay. That was nice and flush I should say. That housing there is okay. That's not a worry. This is a bit rusty, but I'll wire brush that off so it sits right home. So we'll pop him back around this way, and it has a grease nipple in here, and this was just full of old mucky grease. Now this wouldn't have been greased because I actually had to cut the grill off to get to it, so that's that's something that we know. So okay, I've washed everything up, and we know that this shaft has been sitting too low, because when we pulled it apart, remember, we could lift it up quite a few millimetres. So there is some wear there. Now this is the arm underneath the tractor. So this goes on the bottom end of the shaft, and it has a little shoulder here for a dust seal, a felt dust seal to go in, just to stop rubbish going down into the spline. There's always surprises. Now if I try and line this up correctly, where's our master spline? There it is there. Yep, there he is. Stop looking, I found it. Look at this. Look at that bit of bullshit. So at some time in its life, this has been loose in there, and they've decided to give it a weld. So all that weld has to come off. Once it comes off, I'm going to see by tightening how tight the spline is. I can feel a little movement there, but it's a bit of a nuisance thing. And with that sitting down there as far as it can go and being welded there, you can see where the welds have lined up, so that's pretty well where it was. So I think this was down a little too far. It could have gone a slight bit further maybe, and we're going to try and do that. Something that it was that I couldn't show you before, and where this big flat washer sat on the end here, it was never quite holding the spline in. If you have a look, this spline is out by, say, a millimetre, 40 thousandths of an inch. So even though it was tight from rust. Now I've washed it up. The spline's tight, it goes down far enough, but this washer won't do it. So what I need to do is go up on the lathe and make a stepped washer, which is no big deal. So that is sticking out. I'll try and get it nice and even if I can. Yes. So look, 0.65 of a millimetre. So probably if I make the step to go over the spline there, say 2.5 millimetres deep, and I make a new washer for here that's just a bit thicker, and then we can still pop our spring washer on, and the magnet had stuck to my torch, and we can still get our nut back on. I've tidied up all the surfaces on the nut. They were all bashed around, and yeah, had marks all through them. But anyway, they're good now. They're certainly good enough for what we want. Okay, you can probably see on the camera I've taken all the weld away here. The little light help Yeah. I've taken all the weld away. I can bring the shaft right through there now. So when we bring it right through, we can actually have 4 mil sticking out, say, which is a good thing. When we pull him back in and it's important to have this top spline, this tapered spline on this top one tight. So if I make the washer for there and bring that right up tight, it is possible now to take all the movement out of there and I'll have no end float there at all. And that's an ideal situation, that's a good thing. So our next thing with this little job will be I'll run up, I'll make the washer, this can come off now that we know it's going to do the job. So the next job on this will be to make this stepped washer. Look, because this is curved and that's curved and it's been sitting there a long time, I'm not going to make anything for there, but I am going to slide the bush down a little bit. I'll work out from this height here to in there to this oil groove, work out where that'll be the centre of the bush and put the bush in there. I'm still waiting on the bush. I'm probably not going to even put the order in for the bush just at the moment, but if I can get these other little bits sewn up, well, we're there. You know, get a grease nipple for here, the bushes are coming, order a couple of felts for here and there to keep any moisture out. Then I can probably sandblast this piece. I'll probably sandblast it before I put the bushes in, really. I can sandblast a few items here, and even though they won't be seen, we'll sandblast them and prime them, and then when it comes to putting the tractor together later on, we haven't got parts with fresh metal there that are going to rust on us and things like that. So I think by bringing the bushes, this bush can stay where it is. The shaft, with this shaft pulling right up there, there's no spline on the bush, or if there is, it's very little. So that's a nice flat surface area. This one I'm going to say drop 5 millimeters, and wherever I think that grease track will be. And so we'll have it greasable here, we'll have it greasable through the top here, so that should be a good thing. Well, there you go, there's the washer I made, the stepped washer. So that comes down over the top there, so when we do this nut up on the end here, that'll pull that spline up in tight and we shouldn't have any movement there at all. So yeah, even just finger tight like that, there's no movement at all, and that gives us the opportunity now to find the right place for this fella here with no movement there, and we can clamp this bolt up, and look, I think it'll be okay. I may even, with this spline at the back here, I may even drop a bit of, it is a tad loose, but it depends how much the bolt tightens it up. But I may put a bit of retaining compound in there, like a bit of Loctite primer and some retaining oil. So there you go, that's the end of one day on the Massey 65 restoration. Yeah, I'll be up the shed again tomorrow, and I'll probably still be playing with the front end. I just want to sort a few bits and pieces out and get things so I know what I need to order if I haven't got a part, and I can get that happening while I'm doing something else until we get to the engine and things like that.